Good morning, everyone. I am always happy to be at the EPC on behalf of the people of the Republic of Kosovo and represent my country in this important initiative. I want to commend Denmark for organizing such an important summit despite of the ongoing security threats that are coming against all of Europe from Russia. Obviously, this is going to be another great opportunity for us to discuss how do we deal with such threats with unity among all of the members, not only within the European Union, but also those of us that are outside of the European Union, but aspiring to join and to contribute to the overall security, stability, and prosperity of Europe. However, I must add that unity alone is not sufficient. There is a continuous necessity also for consistency in dealing with aggressors and dictators. There are currently two main security threats coming against countries within our continent. One comes from Russia, obviously. The other one, especially in our region, comes from Russia's proxy, Russia's extension in our region, that is Serbia. And I think there is of course, consistency that is necessary from the European Union in dealing with both of these aggressors, because you cannot treat one as an aggressor and as a dictator and the other one as a partner for peace.
Which constitutes the bigger problem for you, Serbia or Russia?
It's a combination of both. Obviously, Serbia has been treating its neighbor states as non-existent states, as temporary states, as states that they act with aggression against. Of course, it's a copy-paste from Russia's playbook. Unfortunately, Russia also supports Serbia in this endeavor. So traditionally and for centuries, they've been using the same kind of concept. Russia talks about the greater Russia and the Russian world. Serbia talks about the greater Serbia and the Serbian world. And they use the same method. So for us, both are a threat. And we have to keep in mind that in our region, there's never a vacuum of influence. If there's no Western positive influence, malign powers of the triangle of evil, which is Russia, China, and Iran, always come there, not for charity, but because they have malign strategic interests. So it's very important that enlargement is pushed forward, and the Western Balkans, those countries in the Western Balkans that meet the criteria and that also work towards the values that the EU stands for, should be taken into account in moving forward.
You are going through the history of war. What do you recommend for the Ukrainian people in these times?
Well, to the Ukrainian people, I would say that there's nothing that can stand on the way of a people that wants to be free and fights for its freedom. So they will win this war, they will achieve their freedom, they will get their freedom back. To the European Union, I'd like to say history shows that appeasement of dictators, appeasement of autocrats never leads to long-lasting peace. Unfortunately, appeasement of dictators has always historically led to encouraging them to use more violence. So, of course, our call is to make sure that they're very careful with how Russia's proxy in our region is treated and not to appease them to the extent that they continue to use violence. We just commemorated 2 years since the act of aggression of Serbia against my country in the north of my country. The European Union has constantly called for accountability. There has been zero accountability. It's about time that they walk the talk.
Are you European Union hypocrites on this point?
No, I'm not saying that they're hypocrites. I think they have the best of intentions. However, it is important that everyone learns from the history. And as I said, history, especially on how Putin was treated, shows us that appeasement of people like Putin never leads to long-lasting peace. Vucic has been trying to copy Putin by using aggression and destabilization tactics against neighbors. And for that reason, it is very, very important that EU member states understand that rewarding Serbia for standing with Russia is not the way forward. Countries who are at a 100% alignment with the EU must be rewarded, not those who have chosen Moscow as their path forward.
Can you describe for us what kind of
membership application has not advanced since 2022, if I'm not mistaken? Do you still believe that there is a path for Kosovo in the European Union, and what is the timeline?
That is the only path for us, for the people of Kosovo, 97% of whom are in favor of EU and NATO membership. Unfortunately, for domestic political considerations of a few member states, our application has not been treated yet. But our patience will not grow thin. We will continue to walk on that path because we never flirt with other powers, with malign powers. We will work hard until we convince each and every member state that Kosovo is not a burden. Kosovo is a contribution, is a country who, according to Gallup International, from just a few days ago, is the #1 in Europe in terms of safety, security, and rule of law, and #3 in the world. We're very proud to be a country that is aligning with the EU on foreign and security policy, and a country that is contributing to what the EU values are. So for that reason, I cannot give you a timeline because it does not depend on us. Everything that depends on us has already been fulfilled, but if we're required for more, we will do more. The rest depends on member states, and we hope that you as media, you will positively pressure them to support a country that has truly contributed to these EU values.
We are from the Danish press, and we would like to hear also, the Danish government is making a deal about a prison for foreigners in Kosovo. That has been very postponed a lot of times. Can you make some guarantees that it would actually go through?
It actually went through, and as President, I've engaged personally. It has been ratified by our parliament. Now the rest are mostly technical issues between the two teams on how this international agreement between Kosovo and Denmark will be carried out. For us, it is very important, and so is for Denmark, a quite close partner of ours, that everything will be done and implemented in full compliance with the best international human rights standards. But there are no delays at the beginning. There are a few delays with ratification in our parliament, but it's been a few months now that that ratification has been concluded. So now it's just technical teams doing their jobs.
Why is it attractive for you to host our criminals?
It's not about hosting criminals. Countries that protect the same values, countries that are allies, support each other. There have been times when we were undergoing genocide, and Denmark was one of the countries that stood by us and came to save our lives. Now we are ready to give back. When Denmark needs us to protect the values for which we stand, we will be there for Denmark. This is not about violating any human rights standard that there is. This is about upholding those standards, but not alone, but together. That's the only difference. Supporting each other, it's never about being attractive to criminals. Supporting each other, it's about upholding the rule of law and human rights standards together. So being there for one another, and that's what we're doing for Denmark, the same way that Denmark stood with us in our hour of need.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.